Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs, what it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Family, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. Guess what? I gotta go ahead and get into this live stream that I just messed up. That's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Hey, family, guess what, man? Yo, I hit the wrong button, and I'm live on a whole nother show. Yo, I messed up I hit the wrong button. I was live at 12 o'clock. I'm like, yo, where the people at? I see people waiting. What's happening? What in the world is going on? Please forgive me, guys. I was in the wrong studio. I went to the wrong studio and I was live for a whole nother show that I was not ready for. So, okay. But welcome to the show, guys. Antonio McKinney, what up with you, man? Okay. Today's show is going to be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting one. It was not necessarily planned. It kind of fell in my lap. Tim Smith, what up with you? Dallas in the house. Yo, y'all would not believe what just happened. But anyway, we're here now. We are here now. It is 12 p.m. noon. It's 12:10 noon. That means it must be 9:10 on the West Coast. 9:10 a.m. on the West Coast. So listen, there's something interesting going on with college football. I don't know that any player can be trusted in this environment. This is a new environment of college football, okay? The new environment meaning that there is no loyalty. We talked about loyalty, I think it was like maybe 2 shows ago, about the young men that are playing this sport being loyal to the school, being proud to actually wear the colors of the school. I don't know that that's going to happen now in college football. Because for some odd reason, there's a lot of flips going on. Flips are all over the place. And we are not immune to the flips. We're going to talk about that and many, many more on this show. But first, right above my head or right over here, you will see the email where you can call in. Hot tips for TLPsports@gmail.com. This is the show where your voice can be heard. You don't have to get stuck in the comments or in the chat section. You can come onto the show and you can have your voice heard. You can join the conversation. We've been doing panels and the panels have been working out pretty well. Okay? As long as you keep it civil, you keep it respectful, you can respect other people's opinions. You're not nasty and you cannot use foul language or I would not get paid for this show. That's it. That's the simple thing. You can be a hater, a detractor, a lover, a supporter, whatever, a BWB or not. It doesn't matter. You can come on and we can have a conversation. But guess what? There's a lot of things going on in college football, guys. College football is up and down right now. There is no loyalty. I don't care about the colors that I'm wearing. It don't even matter no more. People used to be proud. But now, I don't know, man. You see the thumbnail? We had a decommit. We had a what they call a decommit, we had a flip, okay? Oregon flipped one of our guys. And it seems as if there might be another flip. And before we get too deep into the show, let me not be rude. Let me say hello to my guest. My camera's up here. My computer's right down here, so the chat is right here. I will have to look down every now and then to look at my chat. So let me say hello to my folks. Antonio, I already said good morning. Tim, what up? Ron Tate, how you doing today? Just being myself, what it is. Ron Tate here says he's from Delaware. All right, the Southern Emperor. All right, so what up with you? Buff Boulder City, how you doing today? All right. So let's go ahead and cover the current news that is going on, and then we will get deep into the show. We got to talk about loyalty. We got to talk about maybe it's the coach's fault. Maybe in today's time, you have to create an environment for the young men to want to stay. I don't know what you have to do, but you got to do something because there is that today's loyalty in college football. I don't know if it's existent at all. There's no loyalty in college football anymore. So we got to figure that out. All right. Whatever it means that you have to, if you make a commitment, you're going to stick to your commitment. If that means anything anymore, who knows? All right. But, anyways, we're about to get into that show, guys. Go ahead and do me a favor. Smash that like button. You know what I'm saying? That little plus button. That sends the video out to a whole lot of people, and we can get more people on the show, more voices on the show. Brooklyn in the house. Jermaine Tillery. If you're Jermaine Tillery, there's a Tillery. I think there's a Tillery over there by the Brooklyn Bridge. So that's what's up. KMS, what up? KMS says that guy committed for all of 45 seconds. So Buff Boulder City says Boo Carter. We're taking care of the news right now, guys. Boo Carter and Walter Nolan coming after Joseph Edwards commits tonight. Did I say Joseph Edwards? Coming after King Joseph Edwards. That's his name, King Joseph Edwards? Okay. All Buffalo fans tonight, 4-star elite edge rush King Joseph Edwards makes his commitment tonight. All right. We exhausted Boo Carter yesterday. Boo Carter was not Boo Carter, I don't know. We don't know if Boo Carter, he's playing games, but the situation yesterday for Boo Carter was that he was actually, what's it, Tennessee that we said? It was one of those schools that he was at. I forget what school that he was at, and he was training or he was practicing with him or something like that. Okay, yeah. He practiced with the Vols. Yeah, Boo Carter practiced with the Vols. Y'all can forget that one. All right, so we were talking about that, so we don't know about Boo Carter. KMS says, please not today. All right. Nobody's worried about Boo Carter. If he comes, he comes. But that's what we want to talk about today, because at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, a commit is a commit. All right. You can break all the news you want, but the way that college football is right now, with all the money in college football, it's kind of weird. And then it's a lot. Okay. And Southern Emperor says, what do you say? I feel like if you were following the Buffs as a player, you can see that we are poised for greatness. Shador needs O-line that are committed to him and that are not jealous. All right, so whatever that jealousy situation that's going on, whatever that is, we can talk about that. Buff Boulder is very bullish. Buff Boulder is bullish on Boo Carter. He can pretend to be a Vol, but he is going to be a Buff. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Because signing day is tomorrow, right? Signing day is on Wednesday. That we determined signing day is on Wednesday. Going to be a lot of sad Buff fans. King on his way to Syracuse. Buff couldn't match the bag. I'm gonna tell you straight up, ain't nobody gonna be sad over here, because I'm preparing us. As you guys can see, I've been preparing us to be studied, to be calm. Now, this time around, we're not playing that game. We're not overhyping nobody. Nobody's more important than the team. Okay? I'm gonna repeat that for a lot of us. No one man is more important than the team. So we're not going to overexcite anyone. Okay? You're going to be calm. I'm going to be calm. We're not breaking news on everything and everyone. Nobody cares. We're going to focus. And when I say focus, we are going to laser focus on the young men that end up being with us when the season starts. That's where I'm going with it. I'm going straight there. So ain't nobody doing or saying anything that's going to shake or make me waver on me being content with my team. We're Buffs. That's it. And nobody cares who commits or decommits. You just got to be in that feeling right now. You got to have that I'm good over here feeling. I want everybody to please understand that now. Okay? I've been saying it and I've said it several times. This time around, don't fall for the okie doke. Do not fall for the okie doke this time around. When you come here at TLP Sports Club, we're going to give you the nitty gritty. Okay? I got guys on here, people that come on here that knows different, that knows the Big 12, that's part of the Big 10, that have watched football from all across college football, and they have some type of insight on some of these young men that are coming to this school, whether they're good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. So we get people that give you some type of insight. I may not have all of the insight, but sometimes I get guests on here that have some insight on the players that are coming, and we give you some real nitty-gritty information. And on this show, we're not afraid to ask the hard questions. We are not afraid to ask the tough questions that's going to put you at ease, because I want you to be at ease this time around. We're not going to be so high that when the bottom gets cut from under earth, like somebody built you up and tell you, oh my gosh, we're getting one of the best players in the transfer portal. And then next you know, they're with Oregon. We're not doing that here. So if you've been around here, you should be calm. You should already know how I've been doing it for you. And I'm going to say this. Now do you see why I'm doing it and I'm saying what I've been saying? Be steady. We're going to be all right. No one player, I don't care how talented he is, I don't care how fast he can run, no one player is more important than the group as a whole. So that's why I can stay calm. I have a new leaf on this Buff team, guys, and I'm going to make sure that you get it here on TLP Sports Club. I have a new leaf, and I'm going to make sure that you get it here. Is there an echo in this room? Yes, I have a new leaf on this team, and I'm going to make sure you get solid information while you're here on this channel, okay? When you come here, you're going to be like, yeah, man, I feel better. I feel better that at least I listened to Harry B and his guests and people in the chat. You see what I'm saying? X-Men, what up? All right? DC Carson Music, what up with you? So that's what it is. So I got the invite coming. Hot tips for TLP Sports at gmail.com is the email. It's right above my head, guys. If you look right around this area right here, to call into the show, email hot tips for TLP Sports at gmail.com. You can come on here and you can share your thoughts, your views. Don't get stuck just in the chat section, because sometimes, texting over there can be a little tough. Sometimes just getting it out, saying it with your voice, saying it with your chest, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a little easier to say with your chest, all right? Haters are welcome. Detractors are all welcome. Everybody is welcome to join the show, all right? So that's what it is. So we here. All right, Tim, I got you. Hey, Phil, if you're coming on today, let me know. Ron Tate, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. But that's why I set up this show. Some people hate me for saying certain things, but like I said, this time around, we're not going to fall for the okie doke. And guess what? We're not going to set ourselves up for failure, okay? Because college football works in synchrony with the rest of other college football. But what we've done, we've put ourselves in a little bubble, or what we tried to do last season is kind of incubate ourselves in a little bubble where nothing and everything else didn't exist but us. Like my son, my oldest son once says, he said, Mommy, I'm in my own world all by myself. And I think that's what we did. Some of us did that. We were in our own world all by ourselves. And nothing else mattered. But now, right now, I know some people like to say, oh, you're just trying to do that to play into the haters, to get the haters' approval. That's not what I'm doing. I'm doing that because now we're ready for decommits. Because all the shockers and everything that we used to feel, all of that belly pain that we used to feel, Now it don't matter no more because no one person is more important than the team. Not even Travis Hunter, not even Shador. I'm telling you, no one person. If you are a true fan of a team, okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. This is what's gonna help you to be calm and to really settle in and trust the process. No one player is more important than the entire body of the team. If you take that mindset, that mentality, then you will only worry about what's in front of us. That's it. And you will stop worrying about what's not here or what's coming. We're going to tell you who's coming or the potential or prospects that are coming. And you can take that information and we'll take that information on this show and we're going to dissect the information for you. But we want you to be calm. That's why we give you the positive, the negative, and everything else in between. That's why we have different voices on the show. The different voices are going to help you. Not like you're hearing voices, not that kind of voice, but the different voices are going to help you to understand what's going on. I got you guys. I'm coming. Tim, I'm coming with you. All right, so right now I want to talk about something. Just being myself says Buffalo Bubble. The other content creator reporting all over all angles and not just riding the prime wave don't always agree, but boy, y'all can't deny his honesty. Bedford never took a we coming picture with Prime. All right, sir. What'd you say, Harry? That's the champions of college football. Believe no one man is bigger than the team. That's what we got to do. No one man is bigger than the team. Understand that. You got to understand that. Because, I mean, just look at the landscape of college football where it's at right now. Just look at it. You got more starting quarterbacks entering that transfer portal than ever before. And this year alone, over 1,300 and counting players have entered the transfer portal. I mean, with those kind of numbers, it's only going to get worse. It's not getting better. So, and guess what? The Colorado Buffaloes are not immune to that. We're not the only one it's going to happen to. Now, we're going to, if one of our, like I would say, central players into that transfer portal, it's going to hit us a little harder because we don't have a big of a base as other teams do. So we kind of like depend a lot on the pieces that we got, especially our key pieces. So obviously it hurts us a little bit more because we don't have the resources as other teams do. We're building our resources, all right? We're building our war chest. We're building our NIL initiatives. We're building all our base to understand where we can recruit, and for the recruits in that area, the local coaches, the high school coaches, to trust us. So we're building. We're still building that up with Coach Prime. Coach Prime has his connections, and he's making waves. He's doing what he has to do. Now, some of that's going to come, more of that's going to happen with winning, but he already has a strong base with Florida. We're working out Georgia and other places. But right now, college football is very skittish. So as long as you understand that no one man is bigger than the team, then at the end of the day, nobody can shake us. If somebody leaves, they can't shake us. So let that sink in. Please embody that. Let it sink in, and we'll be fine. So when somebody leaves, we're like, okay, whoever's here, whoever's left, that's who we're gonna rock with. Georgia handing out 5 stars. See you crying over 3 stars leaving. Nah, man. They wish they were. I don't know that Georgia's getting all the 5 stars anymore. You know what I'm saying? Things are getting tough now. You got daggone starting quarterbacks all jump into the transfer portal. I'm looking around and I'm like, wait, every time I get a news, I'm like, what's happening? Right now, I'm going to put a topic out there and I want to get y'all opinions. Um, I, Obviously, I gotta go back into the past to do this, but you guys have heard that our tight end Mikey is going over to Sean Lewis to play. So if Mikey's going over to Sean Lewis, one of the coaches are going over to Sean Lewis. Um, it's just opportunity. So I like Mikey, but going over to Sean Lewis, it's like either the opportunity's there, Sean Lewis is doing his thing, but like as far as going over to San Diego State to play, I don't know how I feel. How do you feel about Mikey going over to San Diego State, or how do you feel about Mikey playing with Sean Lewis? Because if the Bucks have their, if we have our, I guess if somebody leaves, they can go anywhere they want to go play. It doesn't matter whether it's Sean Lewis. It's just kind of like the way that when Sean Lewis left, it just felt kind of weird. So to get Mikey to go over there and then a couple of other players to go over there, it's like, I don't know how I feel about that, but you know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know. Yo, East Coast Cap says, bye, Felicia. All right, so, but I want to share some with y'all, and I want to get your opinion. Y'all let me know. It's on the thumbnail, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about this right here. We're going to be readers into things today. Let's read a little something into something today. I am prepared to share this with you. Y'all let me know. All right, right here. This post came from my guy, Kevin Borba at Athlon Sports, but this is on Jordan Seaton's Twitter page. Jordan Seaton tweeted this right here. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Did you guys see this right here? If we're reading into things, what does this mean? Hopefully you guys are seeing that. What exactly does that mean? I know one of my guests at one point said something about, what happens if Jordan Seaton doesn't sign with Colorado? We're still taking the whole idea of no one man is bigger than the team. But what does this mean right here? This Jordan Seaton tweet. What are we to make of this? Why would somebody tweet this, right? And I mean, some fans are like, that maybe he was speaking for somebody else. Somebody said he felt the code up there. Somebody said, wait a minute. So is this any indication of what's going on, what he's thinking? I want to hear from y'all. Y'all let me know. All right. Good morning, Tim. Thank you good afternoon, Tim. Thank you for joining the show.
Hey, good afternoon, Harry, man. I was just gonna say, based off that that post that you just put up on the screen,
Uh-huh.
I look at it as um, I think he's talking in code to Boo Carter, and I know we ain't gonna jump on Boo Carter today, but
Mm-hmm.
they kind of established a relationship when they both came to visit Boulder. So um, I think they established a relationship, and I think based off of everything that's going on and is getting close to signing day tomorrow, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's with the two buttons. It's like, okay, which one are you gonna choose, Colorado or Tennessee? Hey, look like you've been sweating at that press conference, man. You know what I mean? So I think they talking like kind of like Cole, bro. I can't see Jordan Seaton flipping. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
think he's bought in. Now if we wouldn't went out and got went able to recruit more linemen, then I'd be like, okay. Is he sweating a little bit? But other than that, I don't look at it
So your
too
little
deep into
spidey
detail.
senses, your little spidey senses for like a little maybe is he feeling up the linemen we're getting and he think he may not compete? You kind of like you may want to go into that a little bit, or you just think of
Say
it
that.
just a,
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
no. I was saying, does your spidey senses kind of like spike up just a little bit, thinking like, is he feeling the pressure of the other linemen? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I don't feel like he feeling no any pressure of the other linemen because Jordan Seaton checks off all boxes, man. When it comes to O linemen,
Okay.
he's pretty much ahead of his time. You know, you got certain players that were ahead of their time. Uh, you know, I feel like if the NFL was able to do like the NBA, allow players to come straight out of high school into the NFL, I think possibly he could be one of those caliber players.
Okay.
But I don't think he would start on the NFL level. But they would take him because he checked those boxes, man.
So what do you think about the current nature of college football? Like the loyalty factor we touched on it a little bit last in a couple of shows ago.
Hmm.
But the current nature of college football when it comes to like NIL deals and money and anybody being able to just provide a bigger bag,
Hmm.
like do you think that's ruining college football? Is it really like gonna make the competition kind of level out for a lot of the other schools?
I mean, I think that it'll level the playing field some. You got
Mm-hmm.
some schools that has more money than others, like Texas A&M. You know, they can afford to drop a bag. Notre Dame, they can afford to drop a bag. Their alumni pay for everything. So um, when it comes to that NIL and I just feel like that players, you got young kids, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
talking about young kids, young men, and they want that bag. They want to, as we call it down here, they want to stunt. You know, they want to drive around campus. They see what Shador driving, but they also understand his background as well. You know, he come from wealth. He was born
Okay.
into wealth. So, but they still are attracted to those things that they see in the media every day. Uh, Coming over to Colorado, they already know, oh wow, man, my branding can be here. You know, my marketing gonna go up here. Um, I'm gonna get a little bag, but you also got some that's like, hey, you know what? I want to get my bag on the back end. You know, which is the NFL. I have a desire to play at the next level. So I feel like everybody is different as far as their thinking and being loyal to a school. I can't see nobody being loyal to a school nowadays dealing with the NIL and like you said earlier, you got 13. I mean, you had top-notch quarterbacks jump into the portal.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have none of this NIL deal crap, none of them. I don't think none of them would have left.
Hmm. Let me bring Rico on the show. Let's get Rico's opinion and what Rico thinks of the current nature of college football and some of the decommits that we are getting with Colorado. Rico, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, what's going on, man? I actually,
All is
man,
well.
I got a few thoughts, right?
Yes, sir.
The temperature of college football. I think there's never been this much interest in college football as it has been, especially in the last, man. I'm gonna say the last 10 years. We really
Okay.
wasn't interested in football. So with Coach Prime being at the helm at Colorado, it definitely brings a whole nother level of excitement. We can see that through all the attendance and the selling out, man.
Mm,
Coach Prime choosing to go to a dilapidated college where they haven't won anything in the last 15 years. You know, it was a crucial turning point for Rick George, for him to sign him on because he was 1-9 being at the AD, right? He only had one winning season since he's been there. So that in itself, as far as the NIL is concerned, I think we should have already done the NIL because these players been getting robbed for a lot of years. You know, schools been making billions off the names of the players and likeness of the players,
Exactly.
right? So the NIL should have already taken place. So people talk hollering about whether it should be gone or not. Uh, that shouldn't be a factor. No, the players should get paid, right? I think where it's headed to, I think it's going to eventually end up being like the NFL to some point, right? To where you're going to have a lot of great players. There'll only be a few. You know, the college, you still have college, but you're going to have the elite colleges, and the elite colleges will get the, you know, whereas we have the SEC, we may have more conferences other than SEC with the best players, with the teams that have the money to pay the players. And then you may have the smaller schools, you know, like the Liberties. They may get the players that really are not that great, but I think the players that have the talent are going to get paid. Now, when it comes to the decommits, I agree with Coach Prime. Really, you shouldn't be able to decommit once you commit. That rule should be in place, and I think that will kind of cause the players to think twice because I do think they're trying to feed off some of the free publicity and where it is they want to
Talk,
go. I
talk,
think
talk about that. Talk more about that.
when I looked at the Charles Lester, man, you know, him carrying his little goat around on the leash, man, I can kind of look at him and just kind of tell, bro. And this is just my opinion. Man. We talking about keep it honest. I'm just giving my opinion. You know, a lot of these players had never had that type of attention because they high schoolers. They haven't really never gotten any attention. So to come into a spotlight, like we've all know what the 15 minutes of fame sounds like, right? We don't heard that before. So when any person get that 15 minutes of fame, that opportunity, yeah, of course, man, they want to be courted. They want to kind of milk the opportunity, and possibly, man, they already know where they want to go. Keyshawn Johnson said that on Undisputed. Like, man, I like decommitted 3 or 4 times before, and I knew exactly where I was going the first time. So I do agree with Coach Prime that what needs to happen is, you know, before you commit, once you commit, you can't change. You know what I mean? It has to play out unless there's some other extenuating circumstances, you know, like the guy didn't have enough transfer credits and so forth. Um, that's what I think. Now, on the picture that Jordan, I mean, you know, with Seaton, man, you know, Coach Prime put him on the Rich Eisen show.
Yeah.
I think that was a planned move. Rich Eisen is a huge show. He has a huge platform. And for Coach Prime to put him on there and him to announce his choice. So I think Jordan, he's in place. You know, I do think that Coach Prime is using him to kind of bring in some other athletes, but we also see athletes coming in from Houston. We see some other athletes, man, coming in from other schools. So Coach Prime is going to get what he needs. But I agree with you. We should stop celebrating these guys until we see who is on the team because they are just using the publicity, in my opinion.
I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of boils down to a whole lot of that because, I mean, everywhere. I keep thinking about the rap, like it's broken glass everywhere. It's breaking news everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're breaking news everywhere, and it's like this person comes, we get excited, and we're kind of doing a disservice to the base. You see what I'm saying? We're doing a disservice to the base because a lot of us are kind of infusing energy into certain things, and then when it doesn't pan out the way that we wanted to pan out, people kind of get disappointed. Especially the you know what I'm saying, the casual fans, because obviously a lot of us came over with Coach Prime, so we're kind of like
because of Coach Prime. Coach Prime since the first punt return. Go ahead.
More subtle,
FSU.
Right? We're more subtle, but you know we're now becoming more Buff fans. But we also got to be mindful that there are people that are kind of like, you know, a little bit more casual than us, and we got to be able to nurture those people as well. We got to be responsible with the mic. I feel like we gotta be very responsible with the mic. And let me bring on Ron Tate. And Ron, what do you think about? Just speak on a little bit. I know we're gonna get into the deeper topic. We got according to Ty Harris, tomorrow's signing day. Obviously, we're going to talk about everything, but right now, what part do you think, Ron? What part do you think that creators play? Can you speak that on that a little bit about creating false narratives and false excitement to kind of like hinder the base per se? Hey, Ron, that's for you. Are you there, Ron? Hey, Ron, unmute yourself, and I'll bring East Coast Cav on to answer this question. East Coast Cav, what up with you? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hello, brother. Am I coming in clear?
You're coming in very clear, and tell me a little bit about like what do you think? What part do you think the creators play in all of this this narrative that sometimes kind of detracts from Coach Prime?
Well, I think that that could kind of like deter players, not players from coming, but like look at the kid that just committed to Oregon. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of putting a target on Dion's back. So it's like kind of I would fall back from that until they sign, so to speak, if I'm saying this right. One thing I did want to address though real quick was the thing about, once the player commits, they commit. That in that case, it would kind of make Prime look like a hypocrite because look at Travis Hunter. He was committed to Florida State, and what happened? He
And
flipped and
Cormani as
went to
well.
Dion, went to Coach Sanders. Same thing with Cormani. I think he was committed to Miami. Was it Miami?
He was Miami.
Yeah,
Cormani was with Miami.
yeah. So he did committed and went to Coach Prime. So that would kind of make him look like a hypocrite to say that once you commit because you just landed two. That's 2 years in a row you landed the number one recruit, and this is about to be 3 years because you
Five
landed
star.
Jordan Seaton.
Yeah.
A 5-star recruit, not just any recruit, but like a 5-star.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
You see what I'm saying? So okay, let me ask you. Let me put this question out there for the panel. If college football changes the rules and students starts getting paid by the university, not just NIL, should there be something in the rules where once you commit, you're committed
Yeah,
because now you're getting paid?
I
Well,
agree because
I,
Contract.
if the school is paying for it, that's a contract, right? That's a per contractual basis. Because I know a lot of this NIL are through other outside companies, so that's different, right? But if the school does pay you, then you committed, right? That's in the contract. You set for a number of years of time, just like the NFL. But go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what the gentleman just said. I'm on that same wave. If the school is paying for it and the kid commits, bam, that's what it is. You
Well,
locked into that school for X amount of years too, not just 1 year and boom, you out the door because you ain't getting playing time.
So should we make that official? Should it once let's just say the way the NIL deals are working and everything is kind of like up in the air right now, should it just be like, okay, the school should just have a certain budget for paying the students, and then we kind of change the way that the rules are to govern on like loyalty to the schools?
I would
I
say I
think
would.
position should have a dollar sign on it because you still gonna run into who has the biggest bag.
Well, I think that I would say that the way to work that out is, if a school don't have, if the school itself don't have the NIL funds, then they go into a joint venture contract, excuse me, with a third party company, say a Nike or say a Armor. Now that's a contract with that joint venture and say, okay, they're going to be our backer. They're going to do the funding for the NIL for this school, or they're going to be the funder for this contract for this school, for this player or group of players. And then that would still allow the schools that don't have the bag to still be in the game to get those players to be able to put them on the NIL contract. Just my 2 cents.
I,
So
I,
now television
I,
deals, television. I'll give you the mic in a second. So television deals and like all of the contracts that we're signing for like new media deals and stuff like that with these conferences, then now it has to be spread out to some of these students.
I think the. Good afternoon, Harry. This is Ron.
Hey, Ron, what's
Hey,
up, man? How you doing?
all right.
Hey, give me
Let's
1 second. Dre and Talon, I'm gonna be with you in a second. I'll bring you in a second. Go ahead.
okay. I think that they would have to be careful with that because then we're gonna go back to a system that we had prior to the NIL, which was the haves were getting the 4 and 5 stars, and those that didn't have uh, were just picking up scraps. And then you end up having uh, a Georgia and an Alabama year after year, uh, a
These
Georgia,
super
Alabama, and
teams. No
Michigan
more
and Notre
super teams.
Dame year after year, taking all the paying for the top talent in the country. With the NIL, now it's giving some colleges an opportunity to bid for some of that talent, an opportunity for if someone has an issue like some of the guys now with no loyalty, you know, in and out of these colleges, in and out, off and on these college campuses, are saying, okay, I'll take less money if I can just get out of here and give me peace of mind. So the NIL is giving, all it's opened up the opportunities of recruitment for many more schools. Uh, you still have Texas A&M and Alabama and Georgia. Those guys with the deep pockets, still getting those guys that they want, as many as they want. But still, you have an opportunity at other schools.
So what about by putting a price tag on positions? Do you think that will help as far as loyalty?
Well, if you put a price tag on a position, then I can only afford one. Where Alabama, what they're doing now, they can have 3 5 stars at each position. Still the haves are going to have it,
Mhm.
and the other schools, the have-nots, we won't get it. That's not gonna. It's not gonna help the loyalty as long the uh, as long as the portal system is there. You know, I may be disgruntled. I don't like what's going on. My coach left. My position coach yelled at me or cursed at me.
Mhm.
I'm not getting. Someone's offering me more money. Hey, like Harry was talking about earlier, there is no loyalty. There is no
No, there's
loyalty
not. I
nowadays.
agree.
The colors don't
For
matter anymore. Let me bring on Dre to further that sentiment. Like, what does all of this mean for Colorado? What does this mean with as far as loyalty? And we're not really getting players anymore that care for the colors.
Yeah.
Man, being able to wear a certain color for a certain school, man, the pride in that. Either your mom or your dad went there, or your cousin went there, and man, you grew up in that town, and it was such a proud moment for you to even get a varsity jacket with those colors. Nowadays, it don't mean nothing, Drake.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, and this guy on the screen right here, man, that's my school right here, man. That's my school. IU.
Oregon, oh, the
No, IU.
Hoosiers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm based out of Bloomington, and I went there.
Oh, okay, that's what's
So,
up.
so I know some of these guys. But no, man. But look, I agree. Like, if people like pay attention to what Prime said, I actually agree with what he said. Was that like when you say you're committed, you're not really committed to anything. When you commit, so I'm a big proponent of take all your visits and just have one commitment day. Take all your visits, visit all the schools, so you can make the right decision. Whereas now, you say you committed, but you're not really committed to anything. So even everyone is on the same playing field. Because like you get all these decommits, I know it creates a lot of drama and excitement. But again, I think it's teaching them a bad lesson that you say you're committed to this, but you're really not. You're just flipping like that. And I just think that create bad lessons for these kids. And it doesn't make Prime a hypocrite because he would be under the same circumstances as them. Like everyone is playing by the same rule. Like you can't commit to Colorado until like you're fully understand. Like, hey, when you commit to this school, you're committed. All right. And so yeah, like I think, man, like for me, I'm a big fan of the energy that college football bring. And no, I think the 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 whole excitement of the game separates that from an NFL. And now it's just like this time of year, man. like I'm all for kids getting paid, but I think, man, it's ruining the game. It's just too much stuff going on to follow.
So
Hey Harry, can I say something real quick?
yeah, before I bring Nolan on, go ahead. I got a question for Nolan, but go ahead.
Okay, and I feel like when it comes to Deion Sanders, you 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 got kids that want to play for him. Uh, Maybe not necessarily for the school, but he's attached to the school. Kids are wanting to play for Deion Sanders. So I feel like he's not going to win over everybody. But I feel like, you know, a lot of them for the most part have bought in. Uh, but I feel like it's going to come down to lack of playing time. Uh, in my opinion, as far as if he's able to is he able to keep those players on the roster?
Okay, you just brought up something that I want Nolan to Nolan to talk a little bit about. We get Let's hey T Nolan, welcome to the show. We get all of these players. Last year we got running backs. Our running back rooms was actually predicted to be one of the toughest running back rooms. They were not utilized. They kind of like just rested. They went to bed on the sideline. You bring in all of these players, all these top players that we are garnering or going after for signing day tomorrow. They don't get no playing time, or they don't even get utilized. What happens? What do you think? What do you think happens to them, T?
Appreciate it, Harry. Good afternoon to most of you guys there. Morning to some of you. What happens, man, is we've been discussing off and on what the true meaning of a dog is.
Uh-huh.
If you know that on that offensive line that you got somebody in there that you going against every day in practice. So when it's time to lace them up at the end of August or the beginning of September, if you one of them top five, you earn that spot. So when everybody talking about dogs coming to play for Colorado, if you him, as they say, and you come to Colorado, you know there's other people just as good, if not better than you. If you prove yourself, not only to coaches, but to your other teammates, that you one of them top starters on there, first of all, you have to get rid of the fear of maybe I'm not good enough. If that's your mentality, you shouldn't even come anyway. But it's that same mentality about a dog. I don't care where you go, whether it's to Colorado, whether it's to the SEC, whether it's to the Big Ten. You know within yourself, as they say, bet on myself. I know how good I am. You know how good that you potentially believe that you are. But when you go into an environment of dogs, are you the best of the dog or are you just one in the number? See, that's going to determine who's going to start. That's going to determine who's going to stay. So if you just along for the ride, if you just along for the fanfare or just along for the lights, camera, action, but you're not really him, then that's going to tell off once August, September show up. Are you going to be one of the ones? And let's say you're not one of the starters. Are you then going like, okay, well, I should have decommitted, or even along this process? I tell you what, by the time the first game starts, you already know if you want to him or not. You already know that.
But
And first of all, to even get to that point, I think that has to be something of consideration as you're coming to this commitment. Okay, what if I'm not one of the top dogs? So do I decommit now or do I just go along and see who gonna show up? Because isn't there a time frame to where even after come Wednesday, isn't there a time frame to where they still can either commit or decommit?
well, once you sign, you're committed. That's your school. But I mean, you can definitely change your mind. I think people have signed before and changed their mind. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Harry.
yeah.
We got to be at least fair. Like, what happens when all these guys that come into Alabama that don't play?
Absolutely.
The same thing. Like you either, like I say, it's competition, and if you don't make it, you don't play. So I think with Prime is a different situation because like we have so much access to the program with the videos, and now we get emotionally connected to these kids. But across any program, if like I say, all these dogs, supposed dogs come in, some don't play. That's just what it is. Everyone can't play. And that's any program.
What if it's not the
But
fault of the dog? What if it's the fault of the hey, I'm a running back,
Yeah.
Arthur McCaskill, I come over here
Yeah.
and you barely give me the ball or give any of the running backs the ball. What if it's not their fault?
No, I
Them-
get no. I think for McCaskill, I think they would just worry about his injury, so I can see. But I think if they don't unleash him this year, then I'm like, okay, you guys are tripping. But let's take Willie Gaines for example, right? So everyone's saying like Willie Gaines should be playing. Like then it's obvious to me he didn't beat someone out because everyone can't play. So like if Willie's not on the field, then Willie didn't beat someone out that they thought was better, and it's just simple. And that's across any football program. That's how it works. But when it comes to Colorado, we feel like everyone should be playing. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I don't know that everyone should play and everyone's not going to play, but Colorado has like our resources compared to the Alabamas and the Georgias. Our resources are not it's not the same.
Right.
We don't have the same resources, so we need depth. So if you get to play, how do you handle that? Like, I don't. Is Coach Prime privy to the idea of, man, you being stacked like an Alabama or Georgia and not really and knowing how to talent manage when it comes to that? Do we know that for sure?
Well,
I agree with. Oh,
if we think about it though, let's take the wide receivers. How many different wide receivers played for Colorado?
they stacked.
Different. A lot of them played. So a lot of these guys played. How
Right.
many running backs? I mean, typically a program they only allow 2 running backs. You have 2 running backs that's play. How many running backs got in? Not a lot, but how many got in for Colorado?
3,
3, right? So it's not like they're not
3
getting
main
in.
ones. Three main. Well, Dylan Edwards was the only one that was consistent.
No, facts. I'm saying, like I say, like you better run that ball this year. You better run it. Like there's no option. You better be running like crazy this year. But I'm saying, like, I mean, I think they put people in. It's just, I don't know, man. We just get too into this program to where we feel like everyone should play. Not anyone
With
on
the
the
level of talent. With the level of talent that they bringing in from this portal, though, those guys have started. Especially, I'm gonna use the wide receiver as an example. They started at their previous schools at Vanderbilt. This guy, he was very good, and NC State wide receiver. I've seen what the young man could do. Baby T.O. from TCU. I've seen him at Mesquite. I've been able to watch him a little bit when he was at Mesquite. But he still has development. But some of those other guys that's coming in with this loaded wide receiver room, only one that's leaving is what? Xavier Weaver?
Javante Adams, I think. Antonio.
Yeah.
I think he
Okay.
left also.
But someone who played a major role like Xavier Weaver.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got Travis Hunter, which not sure how much he's going Prime is going to allow him to see the field on the offensive side of the ball, but you still got Jimmy Horn over there as well. You know, is he going to have them in rotation not to lose them the following season? Is what I'm saying.
Well, my opinion on that is that I think that would be a great issue or a great problem to have, and I think that is a stepping stone that Colorado is trying to build towards. That issue right there. Who do we play? Do we flip a coin? Man, they're really close.
I think you should
Having
have them
depth.
in rotation, though.
Receivers, yes, it's easy for the receivers, but you talking about defensive line rotation and offensive linemen. It's not very much rotation there. You can give someone a breather here or there, but we right now, I think now that Coach Prime has 1 year under his belt, that he knows he needs to build depth at almost every position at the FBS level. And that person that comes in, the drop off has to be very narrow. So I think that's what Colorado is on the the road to now is to build depth while they're looking for game changers, while they're looking for individuals that are going to be dogs and be consistent playing at their positions.
Okay, now I got a question for you, based off that, and Harry as well. The
Okay.
depth, you building depth, right? So if you're doing 40, 40, 20, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, is that good or is that bad? Because if you're trying to create depth, why not bring in, say, more high school students that can develop, and maybe you can keep them there a little bit longer than a portal guy?
Harry, let me say something real quick. We won't be happy.
You said we won't be happy.
We won't be happy. We're not going to wait for that. We're not. No,
Okay, I, I, I
four,
agree.
four wins. 4 wins last year, and I'm not
Flock, I
satisfied.
got you. You coming on in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Okay,
four wins last year. I'm not satisfied.
me either.
I wanted a bowl game this year. So
Facts.
of course, your logic is sound, but in reality, no, we wouldn't have that. Harry B would have a fit if we had to wait 4 years or 3 years for Colorado to have a top tier program. And I think Coach Prime has a system now that while he builds with the high school players, while he develops the relationship and develop those players, that he's also giving the team an opportunity to win now, while
Right.
he's also building that opportunity to have a turnover without having a fall off or a lull in play or a drop in wins year after year.
Well, I would add this to it, and then I'll bring Flock on to answer the question as well. The way I look at it, the way I look at the landscape of college football, that's why I chose to do this show today, because we got signing day tomorrow. The loyalty factor, I think that plays a part in what you do today, because you can't trust any of these players anymore. It's very hard to trust these players because you're developing a young man and you're thinking that they're gonna stay in house with you, and next thing you know they're gone. But there is one X factor, then that's Prime, and that's what I want to. I want Flock to come on and maybe touch a little bit on it. Does Prime is Prime set apart as far as maybe like once you get to learn Prime, once you get to know him, that family thing that he has, that thing that he has, is he set apart, or does every college football coach have that thing? So let me bring Flock on, and then the rest of you guys can chime in on that question as well. Flock, what up, man? Welcome to the show.
What up, you know?
So I'm good, man. Hopefully you understand what the question is. Do you think Coach Prime has that X factor to build a team that's going to stick with them, like your Travis Hunters, your Dylan Edwards? Those, if you become loyal to Prime, does he have that X factor to keep players from that 40-40-20 plan, or to keep players to develop them into something to win maybe 2 years down the road?
Yeah, he got that X factor in him to do that.
Anybody else want to touch on that question? Like, what it say about Prime that y'all think players can be loyal to him?
Absolutely. Hey, Harry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. He has the X factor, and I'm gonna tell you what the X factor is this year that he didn't have last year.
All right.
What was the total dollar amount of difference that was brought to the Boulder community and to Colorado? Last year, we didn't have them dollars. This year, we got them dollars. We can make a commit, and whatever it's saying, we may never know the dollar amount spent. But it's amazing how you can lose some of them coaches who had connections to some of these players. They leave, and we still can compete with some of these big guys and getting commits. Why? Because we got something that we didn't have last year, and that's the money.
See,
I
I
feel
think
like
I think his X factor. I think his X factor is he has been where those players want to go. So
yeah,
he's
but
made
that
it to,
wouldn't keep me there. If I'm
huh?
a player, that come out of the transfer portal, I know Dion is the X factor. I'm coming to play for Dion. I'm not
Nah,
coming
that's
to
what I.
play
That's why I said he's the X
right.
factor as far as he has been where they want to go. Nick Saban
Exactly.
hasn't been playing in
That
the
Well, that's not
NFL
gonna
or
matter,
that's
bro.
a
fine.
Hall of Famer in
That's
the NFL.
Pushback,
right.
pushback,
That's
pushback
fine.
coming.
But Coach Saban got championships as well. He may not
That's
have a
that's
Exactly.
gold
that's that's
jacket
college
or
though. That's
Brady.
college. At the
No,
end
no,
of the
no, no, no.
day,
Hold on one
at
second.
the
Let me
end of the
finish.
day,
Let him,
everybody's trying to
Fly,
get to
let
the
him finish.
pros.
Fly, you gotta
Everybody's
let him.
trying to.
Fly, you gotta let
Everybody.
him finish his thought, and then you can get the mic.
What I was gonna say was yes, Prime is the X factor. Me, if I'm a college student and I got talent to play on that level, and I've showcased what I done at other schools for Prime to send me a letter saying that he want me to take a visit up to Boulder, and I get there, I know what I can do. Yes, I'm excited to play under you, but when I get there and I'm not playing or I'm seeing less time on the field than what I did at my previous, I'm gonna jump ship because I know what I'm capable of doing. I don't care how much money they bought to Boulder, and at that thing about if you're a gold jacket or not. That don't amount to anything because I'm
It
trying
doesn't.
to get to the next level. You already
I
been
agree.
there. I'm trying to get there.
I agree. All right. So I'll set this up. I know a lot of people like to talk about gold jackets, and people like to talk about NFL. But can I please tell you guys that a lot of these teams have NFL connections? A lot of these FBS teams have NFL connections. This is not necessarily about NFL connections because if you play well, and especially if you're one of these FBS teams that's winning, you're on television, you're on national television. So, and then the teams have their own scouts. Please understand that the teams have their own scouts. So, and they have their own pipeline as well. So they have scouts. They're not out here just kind of falling asleep and just waiting for prime or a gold jacket. They have scouts that go out and they scout these teams. And then the college coaches have connections with the NFL scouts that are on these different teams. So, and they got tape that they're sending out. So I just want y'all to talk about that. Somebody debunked it because that's the pushback that I have, that being a gold jacket and having NFL connections is not an X factor for Coach Prime. I think it's
Nah,
something
it
different.
it it, it definitely is an X factor at the end of the day. To get the number one player to go to Jackson State, that could have
That's
messed up
not it
that
though.
kid's
That's not
future.
why though.
That's not why he went to Jackson State. He went there for Dion. That's what he went there for.
Yes, he
Hey,
went there.
hey, when Nick Saban was coaching at Kent State, was he pulling number one players?
You want me to explain? Let me explain.
Yeah, explain. Yeah, explain why no other number one player ever went to one of those FCS schools.
Let me explain.
I could testify he did at
Deion
LSU
Sanders
though.
has something different. Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
He
let me
he's a
explain. You
gold
said you.
jacket.
I
That's
thought
the
you said you were gonna let
difference.
me explain. Let me explain. Take away the gold jacket. Take away the NFL experience. Right. The gold jacket is a reward or something that indicates his playing time on the field, understanding the sport. All right. But Dion has this thing about him that kids can relate to. All right.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the young men that decide to leave here, they also know the same thing about the gold jacket. They know. So if the gold jacket was that thing, then a lot of these young men would say, "Oh, okay, I want to stay because of the gold jacket." But
Facts.
the thing that really connects them with Coach Prime is his personality, is his likability, is his ability to humanize the things that other coaches don't know how to humanize. It's to
Look,
tell the truth to these parents, to say, "Hey, I know what you're going through because I've sat here. Like he said, I've sat here being recruited. I've sat here being the parent, and I've sat here now as a coach." So he can relate to these young men and their parents. And I think when he goes into those rooms, and he's talking to those parents, the parents have to talk to the kids after the coach leave. When they say, "Okay, we will get back to you," now everybody have that conversation.
Look.
And the parents are going to say,
If Prime was a decent NFL player, a lot of recruits wouldn't come to him. Let's just put that out there right now.
his
The reason
personality
they
is
going
strong,
to
bro.
him because he was the best of the best. He wasn't a scrub. It's plenty. Look, it's coaches like Eddie George out there. He not one of the top players all the time. You don't see everybody going to him.
But his personality is what I'm explaining.
Look, it's a
Something
lot of
about
coaches
his
with personality.
relatability.
It's a lot of likable coaches. Prime is not the only likable coach in the country. He's not.
But he got that. That's his X
He
factor.
got that gold jacket. He did it he the best of the best. That's why.
But there's a lot of good. Listen. If that
How
was
many
the case,
how many Hall of Fame players is coaches?
that's fine. I'm not saying that doesn't play a factor in it.
No, that
I'm
plays the
saying-
biggest factor.
So wait, give me a second. If that was the case, right?
Does Prime get the Colorado job if he
You
wasn't a
gotta let
Hall
me
of
finish
Famer?
my thought. We're on TV. We on TV. So we got a big panel. Let me finish my thought, then you can have the mic. So listen, the gold jacket it plays a part. But guess what? When the gold jacket wears off, okay? When the gold jacket wears off, something makes you family. Something makes you stay. Something
Gold jacket
makes
not
you-
wearing off.
Something makes you feel like okay, because a lot of the young men, okay, if you get an opportunity to speak to Coach Prime, you will feel the difference. There are coaches that can go into rooms and they can promise you, hey, we got this recruit from this team, from this NFL team. We got 3 recruits from this NFL team that watches all of our games, and we have a pipeline. They can promise you that. But the relatability of Coach Prime, it's second to none. Like, I don't know that most people can really put it down like Coach Prime. That's why I call him the Black Whisperer. I said it in a joke, but I'm just trying to tell you, Coach Prime's X factor is his relatability. He is able to relate like nobody else. He can break it down to the T level, to
That's
the white meat.
facts.
That's what makes him special. Because if the gold jacket was the thing, then guess what? All of those players would be following the gold jacket. Nobody will ever decommit. Nobody will ever say, oh, I'm not coming here no more. The gold jacket can get you into the door, but something got to keep you. The gold jacket cannot keep you because other players, other teams have NFL connections. The gold jacket can't keep you.
Not only that, Eddie George gold jacket, Ed Reed gold jacket.
Where does
Yeah,
Ed
and
Reed coach at? Ed Reed doesn't even coach.
That's the point. It's not just the gold jacket. It's got to be something more than a gold jacket.
His X factor
he's a
is
very
that
good spokesman. Deion Sanders is a excellent spokesman. Like he had like Harry. I agree with everything that you were just talking about. But at the end of the day, these players also want to hit that field. They want to showcase their talent. Whether it's Nick Saban, whether it's Deion Sanders, if they're not seeing that field, they're going to jump in that portal.
absolutely.
So none of these coaches can keep a player at any institution if they just sitting around riding the pine for 2 come out of high school as a 4 or 5-star recruit. They're gonna go somewhere else and showcase their talent. That's gonna give them the opportunity to do so.
Absolutely. And if I was a major coach, my only comeback to get a player to decommit from Colorado was, you know how many players they got playing your same position? You're not going to get the playing time that you think. If you come over here, I can guarantee you TV time. I can guarantee you the same thing that Colorado is offering you.
And listen, Colorado does not have the depth as far as recruiting as the Alabamas, the Georgias. We're building that. We are building a place where we can stack. We don't have stackability right now. We don't have that thing. Okay. We get a couple of players and they come here. And if we put up another season, like an 8-4, a 4-8 season, what do you think is going to happen? How do we keep the Georgia's name is already cemented. The Alabama's name is already cemented. There's a lot of other programs' names that are cemented, right? So a player can go there and ride the bench and don't care. Like, I'm at a Georgia, so I'm going to ride the bench until I can get one play in and show my stuff. But you can't do that for that long for Colorado because Colorado doesn't have the history. And Coach Prime is only 1 year in, and he's building. It's going to take Coach Prime some time to be able to keep those young men. Right now, what's keeping them is his personality and his likability. What you see Travis Hunter going to Coach Prime's house, fishing and stuff like that. Once you get close to Coach Prime and you agree with his spirit, if your spirit can be kindred spirit, like what is it, the movie Avatar? You guys see those little things, those long things where they kind of connect with the dragons before they ride the dragons. I'm just saying, like, once you connect, if you can find a way to connect with Coach Prime and agree with him as far as his spirit and how he does things, his old school way of thinking and stuff like that, you will become family. He will do everything for you. He will do everything in his power to make sure that you eat on every level, whether it's in family. He will look out for you. If your mom is going through something, he's going with you. That's what makes him special, because he's personal. He takes everything personal. And some of these kids don't have that kind of time. If you got that kind of time, Coach Prime will put that time in for you. I promise you. Hey, Ron, welcome back to the show, man.
Especially some of those those grad transfers, they only have 1 year left. And if they're going to sit that bench, they're going to be mad. That's when they start running off and telling their side of the story to the media.
Exactly. That it happens. So the loyalty in college football is gone. These coaches, these programs are going to need something else. You see what I'm saying? You can't hide behind the colors no more. You cannot hide behind whatever it used to be that they used to sell these young men. Hey, be proud to be a Duck. Be proud to be a Buff. That's all good and well. But if my guy, one of my friends is texting me, all right? If one of my friends is texting me like, yo, I just got $250,000. What do you think is going to happen? Like, bruh, if you come over here, because we all know that these young men recruit, right? Like, I would say majority of the recruiting comes through word of mouth. Do we agree to that with that? Like a player saying, hey, man, my guy wants to come, but he wants to know what the business is. You see what I'm saying? So if one of your boys texts you and be like, yo, I got 500 over, and that's 500K, by the way. I got 500 over here for you. If you come over here, I can make sure you get this 500. And now you're talking about, I like the buff colors. I like that black and gold. Come on, like, are we serious? And there ain't no loyalty for that. So what's gonna keep you? What is the thing that's gonna change your mind from going to go get that 500 versus either Coach Prime, the buff colors, the skyline? What do we call it? The flat irons? Ain't nobody worried about that, bro. When you got 500,000 dangling in front of your face, ask any rapper. Any rapper.
I feel like when it comes to, like, we talking about bought in and loyalty, Travis Hunter, in my opinion, is a prime example of that. He has bought 100% into what Prime is doing, but he also give Prime everything that he's wanting out of a player. He study hard. He watch film a lot of film, and he's constantly picking Prime's brain.
Tim, your audio's going off.
How can I be better? Oh, how can I be better?
I mean, besides, like, Coach Prime is always available to teach these young men, and like that's you can't take some of somebody and say, okay, it's like somebody saying, hey, tell me that you are this without telling me that you are this. Like, you can the fact that he's one of the best DBs in all of in football, it plays a major part. But at the end of the day, what Tim has said earlier, that if I want to play and if I want to go to that next level, the fact that you played doesn't really make me play. You see what I'm saying? The fact that you have X, Y, and Z doesn't really feed me. You got to be able to feed me too. So the second that I know who you are, so that brings me to the table. But what is going to keep me to that table? Now, I want to turn our attention, guys, to tomorrow. How are we feeling about tomorrow? Tomorrow's signing day. We got a lot of flipping going on. How are we feeling about Colorado's chances on flip day, on National Flip Day?
Me personally, I feel like the guys that already flipped, done flip.
So you're not expecting no more flips.
I'm not expecting it's flips as far as high school or portal.
It could be anything. It could be a flip from high school. It could be Jordan Seaton. It could be anybody.
No, Jordan Seaton, I can't see him flipping. I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to some of the high school students, but I feel like they may be locked in. But the portal guys, I feel like ain't nobody gonna flip it, and that's just my personal opinion.
What about you, Flock or Ron?
I think we flipping the Syracuse kid King Joseph.
That was brought up in the chat earlier that King Joseph is going to be signing with CU.
He's committing tonight.
Wow,
7:30.
that's big.
So I think it's a chance.
Can somebody break down King Joseph, please? Who is King Joseph for the panel for the audience?
Defensive end / tight end out of Georgia.
So what's that? Both ways?
Yeah.
So
he'll probably play defense mostly though.
Okay, so do we know that we're getting him for defense or for offense?
Probably defense.
So that's where we'll probably need him most. But don't we already have a tight end? Didn't we already tap a tight end
from Cincinnati?
We can use another tight end too.
So Colorado has did we have anyone hurt from our tight end room? Because I feel like the only person that broke out was Mikey. And he was not a true tight end. He was a wide receiver converted. Do we have a tight end room? Because I don't know that we've discussed that on the show. I don't know that we have a tight end room. Let me pull that up and see. Because that could be an area of concern that we haven't discussed yet. Whether Colorado has a tight end room. Let me go to the Buffs and see if who we got for tight end, who's coming up for tight end. All right, let's go to the roster. Now we've while I'm looking at the roster, we've had a few most of the players have already said that they committed. We only have maybe one or two people that said that they're not committed. But is there anyone that we're looking to flip that we know about besides the King kid, the King Joseph kid? Does anybody out there know like if there are players that we're watching to flip from other teams?
They talk about that cornerback CL3, but I don't know. I don't know if he's flipping or not.
You said CL3 because they're talking about that in the chat.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really too sure on that.
Tim, have you heard anything?
No, I haven't heard anything about him.
So no, as far as like, are we flipping any? Do we have any flip watch as far as like who CU is going after to try to pull from a team?
What about the kid? Well, the guy from coming from Florida, Florida Gators, have he taken any other visits?
Which guy?
You talking about defensive tackle?
Yeah, the defensive tackle.
Yeah, I ain't hear much about him. I ain't hear.
So I'm looking at the I'm looking here. We didn't have a really big tight end room at all. I'm looking at the schedule. I mean, let me share this with you so you can see what I'm looking at. Because this is an area of concern that we had. I think a lot of people during the season, we were saying, hey, why don't we use an extra tight end for blocking? And a lot of people were saying that Mikey could not block, so why don't we use the tight end to block? So I think Louis Passarella, did he transfer? Did he jump into that transfer portal? Because I do
I
not
never
see.
even heard of Buddy.
Me either.
Look, we got Elijah Yoverton, Antonio Padoza,
I never heard of them guys.
Brady Colpets, and then Mikey was the breakout. Caleb Faria never saw the field. He opted out. And I'm not sure if I heard Louis Passarello whether he stayed on the team or not, but that was it. So we essentially have no tight ends.
Yeah. I don't know.
They still going after that dude from Grambling.
Maybe we could somehow turn that quarterback to a tight end and fill the room up.
That's true.
Well, that won't be filling the room up. That would be getting one guy.
He's big. He's big enough.
That's all we need is 2 tight ends. We don't need no 5 tight ends.
Bro, what about
most of the time we're gonna be in 4 receiver sets, 3 receiver sets. So you don't really need 2 tight ends.
What about
5 tight ends?
Depth.
Man, 2 tight ends should get the job done.
I think at one point, Mikey got hurt. At one point, he couldn't play. So
Mikey was undersized.
And if anybody gets nicked up, you can't. You have nothing. Now you're out. I'm concerned about depth. I feel like we need to make sure that we have depth on that team at all times. If you don't have depth, when somebody gets hurt or something happens, and they can't get in the rotation, where do you go from there?
Man, I'd be surprised if we run a lot of tight end stuff this year. You feel me? We have a lot of receivers, so I just don't really see it.
I feel like they need to open up, expand that playbook as wide as
they do need to expand that playbook.
Become creative, and having that tight end in there is going to help out tremendously, especially when you're talking about running the ball, as well as get out and passing as well. Like the kid from Cincinnati. But like Harry said, depth. I would try to target a high school student, honestly, to develop.
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything coming out of the camp or on social media. Any of the writers talk about any tight ends that we are, you know what I'm saying, like many tight ends that we are targeting. So
they probably not planning on using too many tight ends. I just don't really see it. We got like 15 receivers.
We still got time as well, Harry. You know what I mean? Some of these bowl games that's being played, you never know who's going to jump into that portal after the bowl games as well.
We got a little bit of time, but I mean, hopefully is something that they are addressing, because I don't know about y'all, but tight ends kind of like are sometimes those drive savers. You see what I'm saying? Like, man, if the quarterback if the quarterback is in a hurry, and usually I just see Gronk just stepping out 2 steps, he got a first down. If we need, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always see tight ends as drive savers, because there's been so many situations where we've had this year where it was like we needed 1 or 2 yards and we just couldn't find it. Like, for the life of us, we could not make 1 or 2 yards to keep the drive going, and we were out of there.
Look, when it come to offense, tight end and running back's gonna be used the least. Honestly, this 2024 season. Hate to say it, but it's gonna be the Shador show.
I mean,
Shador show part 2, and it's gonna be worse because now he got some blockers. So yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
If we're well-rounded, I understand. I do agree with the whole tight end situation. But if we're well-rounded and we get some deep tight ends, I'm telling you, like, the way that football goes, Shador can actually be more productive if we're well-rounded. Like, his numbers would be true numbers. Man. Because a tight end is catching. Because if it's the Shador show, a tight end does catch the ball. You see what I'm saying? Running backs also catch the ball. And when you do a screen pass or when you do one of those little shuffle passes, they count those as pass plays. They don't count those as run plays. So there's so many different ways that Shador can eat. if we want to make Shador, if it's a Shador show and Shador's going to be a Heisman or whatever, and we just want to put his numbers up, we can still open up the playbook, like Tim said, have a lot more fun with the playbook, and Shador can still eat, but we got to pass the ball. We got to be able to move the ball down the field. It can't just be like, let's throw bombs, because what happens when the other DCs cover that?
Yeah, this
Yeah,
it's
the
one.
safeties
It's
will be
one.
over the top.
It's
But
it's it's one.
having that.
Oh,
Oh,
go
go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say having that tight end, especially with his height and his size, he creates mismatch for linebackers. He may be able to come across that middle and catch that thing and get a first down as well. I feel like they're gonna use the kid from Vanderbilt, that quarterback. The size. On fourth downs, you ain't got to bang up Shador. Just give it to him and let him run behind somebody.
Yeah, to me, it's like it's one football to go around. So, of course, Travis gonna see that ball. You got the Will Shepherd kid. He gonna see that ball. You still got Jimmy Horn and a whole bunch of these other wide receivers. So I think tight end gonna be the least option.
If you get a good
He
tight
definitely
end,
not gonna be. He definitely not gonna be Shador first option. Shador gonna look for them other guys first. He gonna look at Travis, Will Shepherd. He looking at them guys first.
that's true. But also, but
And you can't
a
double
tight end
both
can
of them.
block for you.
Now, he might get used as a blocker. I can see that. But
I mean,
Well,
but
I
him
would.
just
Oh, I was gonna say I would say this also. I don't mean to interrupt, but uh, based off of 2023 season, I feel like they need to use that tight end quite a bit because, in my view, they didn't manage the clock that well. So having a running game established and being able to utilize your tight end is gonna help you manage that time, especially in the fourth quarter
absolutely.
when the score is tight. Because if those uh if those safeties sit over the top, then then Travis and them are a non-factor. Even though he'll go up and make tremendous catches sometimes, it's not going to be like that all the time.
Right. And that's where you're like, if you watch the other games, like the other tight ends were being utilized. You can utilize your tight end. I mean, for the most part, a tight end's
Well,
job is to
UCLA
block anyway.
utilized they tight end a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of tight end passes, and they're blocked for the most part. But do you know how many situations we got out off the field because we couldn't get a small yardage? Those little dump passes. I mean, you can just dump it into they're going 2 yards, 1 yard. Like you dump it to a tight end that was blocking, comes off his block. You dump it into the tight end. You keep the thing going for Jimmy Horn and for all your wide receivers. I'm telling you, if it's going to be the Shador show, Shador can still eat. Okay, Shador. There are many ways for Shador to eat, but I think it's going to take that playbook. If we want to make Shador a Heisman Trophy quarterback, we got to open up the playbook.
That playbook got to be open, man.
I saw I saw 3 plays, 3 major plays last year. It was so weird. I'm like, what am I watching? This is not football. What the heck? Why are we complicating football? Like, watching Colorado this year was the most complicated football that I have ever seen. Because I'm like, what are y'all doing? Y'all doing 3 plays? Anybody can stop that, bro. They know what's coming. You did that play just 2 plays ago. They know it's coming.
One
So now what? What you say?
One dimensional. When you can't
Exactly.
utilize a tight end or you can't run the ball, them linebackers is just gonna sit there. They're gonna sit there, and if he take off running, they waiting.
And they start creeping in. Like you saw a lot of their safeties start to creep in. They're like, wait, they're not coming over here. They can't even get over here. My line, like the defensive line is getting in there so fast. You saw the safeties starting to play linebackers. I'm like, they started coming in. So it's so weird. Like, man.
And the dump pass to Dylan Edwards, it worked in the TCU game, but after everybody got film on them, that was a non-factor for the rest of the season.
Exactly. And it just so happened that Dylan Edwards has no size. right? And then Coach Prime said, look, we got to put the ball in Dylan Edwards' hands in space. If we can put the ball in Dylan Edwards in space, then but guess what happens? That idea disappears once the game gets going. Where does that idea go? Are we getting flustered on the field? Is that what's happening?
It depends with the
I don't
score.
know,
If
but I
you
got my
fighting from
eyes
behind,
tuned in.
if you fighting from behind, like score wise, you ain't gonna really run the ball.
That also makes a lot of the other players. I think the thing that we were talking about earlier about players playing, when we're fighting from behind the entire time, it makes the other players not get a chance because you don't necessarily get to breathe or even think about anything else or anybody else.
Nah, you could get a chance if you fighting from behind.
But I mean, we didn't see we didn't see much of it. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Like
that's how Omarion Miller broke out because we was getting blown out.
I thought Marion Miller broke out because we had no
No,
choice.
he didn't
Travis
start
wasn't
that
there.
game. He didn't start that game. I don't think he didn't start that game.
A
No,
lot
he
of
came
like
off the bench.
right, but guess what? It
Yeah,
was most of it was situational. A lot of the
no,
situation. Wait,
we
was
was
it
getting
like?
blown. We was getting blown out. Next man up. Same thing with Carmani. We was getting blown out. Next man up. Carmani ain't start that game either.
I thought it was because of. I thought he came in because of Travis was missing.
No, they didn't start. Omarion Miller and Carmani did not start the USC game. They was getting blown out, so they start throwing them in there. You know, Prime doesn't like people that don't work hard in practice, so he wouldn't have put them in if anything else.
Right. Ron wants to come chime back in. Ron, what's up, man? How you doing? You there, Ron?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead, man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I lost connection there for a second.
All is well.
Okay, could you repeat your question for me, please?
So right now we're talking about we're talking about rotation. we're kind of like throwing it around, but we're talking about rotation. And earlier we were talking about maintaining the young men and then them not getting playing time. Some of them were going to jet up out of here, but we're also talking about how to Coach Prime keep the young men. If we have the depth like in Alabama or a Georgia, how do we keep them excited? Especially if we're stacked with dogs, how do they play? If they play, we're kind of like in that pocket right now.
Well, can I say something? Basically, I'm not gonna lie. We gonna have to do a lot of winning to keep this going. Cause I'm not gonna lie, ain't too many more 4-8 seasons. I don't care how you say Prime talk and the kids believe in him. He go 4-8 a couple more times, they not coming there. So it comes down to winning.
And if they're
He can
not
talk.
coming,
He can.
you got to keep what he
He
has.
can look. He can. Huh?
If they're not coming, if new ones are not going to come, do we keep what we got?
This what I'm saying. You got. First of all, you got to keep new ones coming in. That's how Bama and them are doing so well. New kids coming in, new 5-stars coming in. I'm saying earlier you spoke about Prime, the way he spoke, that's how he's able to bring people in.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't start winning, that's ending. They don't care how he talks. If he go 4-8 again, you're gonna see a lot less coming and a lot more exiting.
So I mean, so that's another factor. That's one factor that brings them that can keep them, right? Because we know Prime's a winner. We know Prime's going to find a way to win. That's one thing. I can trust that Prime is going to find a way to win. But there are different factors that's going to keep people. Obviously, winning is one of. Ain't nobody going to be sticking around a losing program, no matter who it is. But I was just saying, like, if Prime, because we don't have a lot a strong base like the Alabamas and the Georgias. Something is either it's going to take some winning or it's going to take Prime to keep them in that house.
Hey, Harry.
Nah, it's gonna take winning. Look, the Prime probably could do it for the first season or two, but after that, it's gonna take some winning.
Hey, Harry. Let me say
Yeah.
this. I feel like it's 3 factors,
Okay.
right? And I feel like winning is not going to keep everybody there. Because we're talking about the mindset of young men, 18, 19. They want that shine. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And we're talking about 4 stars. If you go back and look at the caliber of players that he's bringing in, Therefore, it's very little 3-stars like it was in 2023. So we talking 4 or 5-star players, man, that
Mm-hmm.
could really go to a lot of these high power schools. But Shine, they want that. They want the cameras on them. They want the limelight. And if they're winning, then they're gonna get that television uh, star power. But if they ain't winning, ain't nobody gonna be tuning in or visiting their campus or none of that crap
Nope,
because
not
it's
at
all
all.
about money. Shine,
Yeah.
time on the field, playing time. Those are key factors is what these kids want. But you can't give it to all of them either.
I mean, but that's like winning. Winning is everybody's factor, right? I mean, no matter what,
Winning is the biggest factor.
right? Winning is the biggest factor because I think Georgia has to win to continue to get those 4 and 5 stars in, right? So does
Yeah, of course.
Alabama.
Of course.
Well, look at
How
Alabama
how many
though.
Who?
teams?
Alabama. Didn't we just pick up a commit from Alabama on the O line
Yeah.
or D line?
Yep.
Okay, how long?
D line,
How long?
defensive tackle.
Right, defensive tackle. And how long did he sit on the sideline?
I
How
think
many
like 3
years?
years. I think like
3
3 years.
years. 3 years, 2 to 3 years. But he was, I think, top 100 coming out of high school. Alabama still winning, but did it keep him there? No.
I mean, they kept him
That's
there
why
for
I
some
say,
time.
yeah, it
They
kept him there
kept
for some time.
3
But
years
you
a long
talking about,
time.
yeah,
Right.
2 to 3 years is a long time, but you still gonna have players going to the NFL or moving on. Then he's able to step up. Now you back to the drawing board.
Nah, I think
But
he might not even got no
what
playing
kept them?
time the next
What
year.
what kept him for 3 years there? I think that's the factor that we're talking about. What kept him for 3 years? Isn't it
Maybe,
the brand that kept him there?
yeah, maybe winning some promises. You feel me? Because he knows if he does any good there, he's going to the NFL. So maybe that was what kept him there. But new players come in, they take your spot, the
Facts.
spot you thought you had. They'll bump you down that depth chart.
What do you guys like? Are we do you guys think that we're empowering these young men like on a certain level to really like start like the way that they're acting is something is weird to me. Something is weird to me because I feel like these a lot of these young men are really acting like stars and maybe we're creating monsters. You guys can chime in if you want, but I
I
feel like we're
mean when they
creating some monsters, man, because these young men are acting a little different
I
to
mean,
me.
when you got 25K Instagram followers and everybody talking about you, putting you on TV, YouTube videos, it's gonna make you feel like a star too. So that's what it is.
But is that affecting the game? Like, is there going to be any more like authentic college football, or is it going to be just like this is now going to be a big show? Because are we
I
losing
feel
Man,
the
like it's
essence
gonna
of
it
college
be.
it's
football?
all a show. It is all a show. We watch it. It's our entertainment. It's all a show.
And I'm here for it, but
I'm,
I'm here for the
I'm,
show. But are
there's
we
a
losing
different
the essence of?
mindset between a there's a different mindset between an 18-year-old and a 20-something-year-old. So coming in, like Flocka was saying, someone like Carmoni, you know what I mean? I use him as an example. I'm pretty sure he got some money, right? But he's not getting that playing time that everybody thought from, from Florida or just that has been following him on social media up until his recruitment date. I feel like, it's everybody is about that bag and their followers, and the
Yeah.
old ways is dead in my opinion.
Hey, when the school offering you 7 figures out of high school, man, that make you feel like a star.
I know, man. That's the essence of college football is going to change. Like it's definitely changing because if you look at it now, man, the things that are going on with the high school students, the way they're acting, man, even the high school students are flexing. I'm like,
But
I'm all for it,
but
but man, this has got to drive the real college football fans nuts.
yeah, but one thing I gotta say, hey, if Carmody don't see that if he see that same playing time he got this past year, he's out of Colorado. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
What do you mean?
I mean, he gonna leave the team if he sees that same playing time that he got this past year. It's over. He's out of Colorado.
But that
So the
was all
gold
on
jacket
him.
not gonna keep him there?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, nah. At that point, the gold jacket ain't benefiting him at that point because it looks like he's not teaching him anything. If he couldn't get on that field,
Well, it's not about getting on
the
the
Oh,
go, the
field.
gold
preparation and
jacket,
everything.
the gold jacket probably definitely got him there though. You feel me? He's a cornerback, especially. So
Yeah,
you want to get taught by the best cornerback. If
right.
I was a
And
running back,
if he leaves with that same mentality that he came in with, he won't play nowhere else either.
nah, I don't believe that. There's some schools that'll take him, start him, especially
No,
if he
no,
go back to like Miami.
Komani didn't play because Komani didn't want to play. I don't think coach didn't want to not play him. I think it was all on him. Everything was on him. And I think if you get another coach, Komani himself, like he somewhere in the season, he was like, all right, I'm cool. I get it now. You know what I'm saying? So something was transpiring. If he's saying I get it now, he understands it now, then that means that he knew what he was not doing. So I don't think it was about him not playing. It was about him not preparing to play. So if he wasn't preparing, then what are you gonna do? What do you, if you're Coach Prime? What do you do? You got to not play him. I mean, and then when he got in the game, I know according to you he was a beast, but when he got in the game, the dude was like, he was flying around. He couldn't hit a fly. He was bouncing
Man,
off.
cornerbacks don't really hit like that. Travis wasn't hitting and tackling like that either. Like they don't really do that. That's not what they do.
I get it. I understand it. But if you are a featherweight and you're bouncing off of, if you look at this Nigerian guy right here that I'm looking at right here, if he's, let's just say he has the ball and you bouncing off of him, you see what I'm saying? Like, you got to learn how to do something, right? It can't be like, oh, cornerbacks don't hit, they don't tackle, or they don't do whatever.
They don't really tackle.
He's doing what cornerbacks do, but the guy's not coming down. If you've seen a couple of Cormani's plays,
Man, he's there to cover the receiver, man. He's not there to do all that. That's the linebackers and defensive line job. That's what they do. Go hit and do all that. He's there to cover the receiver at the end of the day.
There came a time where he needed to make sure that happened, and it didn't happen. I'm just saying.
Hey, it didn't happen with the whole defense though. The whole defense wasn't tackling. So
we was 4-8. Okay, so it didn't happen with the whole team. The whole team is to be blamed. So at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You can have a job, but when you're on a team, if somebody misses a cover, you got to cover them. Do you agree to that or not?
Say it again.
If you're on a team and somebody doesn't cover someone or they miss a cover, is it not your job, or do you not take it upon yourself to cover them, to cover your teammate?
What, in coverage or tackling?
If somebody misses a cover,
what covering a wide receiver?
No. Okay. Let me just simplify for you. Your
No.
linebacker, your linebacker forgets. He didn't forget, but he just missed the tackle, and then it gets to you. You will cover your guy.
You should tackle him. Yeah, you should tackle him.
That's what I'm saying. So we're on a team. We're not on an island. We're on a team. So if you're supposed to tackle and that guy is coming to you, and you say, "Oh, I'm a cornerback. I'm supposed to be covering wide receivers. I'm not supposed to be tackling." Like, you got to tackle somebody. And when he had those opportunities, the tackle did not happen. It was like he was bouncing off of people.
He tackled in the Oregon game when they did the fake punt.
Dude, okay, so guess what? The line
when they was running all over our defense and running all over all our players, he went in there and got some tackles, and that was on special teams.
I'm not saying he didn't do anything. I'm just saying, like, there's gonna be we need people who are gonna be more consistent. It can't be like, oh, he tackled in the Oregon game. Like,
man, I seen everybody get ran over, man, on that defense this year.
we need to up this team. This team.
I seen our best hitter get ran over. Come on, man. I've seen everybody get ran over on that defense.
But we're talking about football now, right? We're not talking about like, oh, everybody's supposed to be perfect because Travis Hunter. We know what happened to Travis Hunter this season.
Yeah, I know what happened to him. I watched that game personally. I know what happened to him.
We know what happened to Travis Hunter.
Yeah, he got embarrassed by a freshman. I know.
Man, listen, man. I'm gonna go get ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna end this show early, guys. Thank you so much for coming on as a panel, man. I appreciate you guys.
100.
All right, man. Take care, Flock. Take care, Tim.
All right, brother. Y'all take care.
All right. So, guys, listen, man. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be it's early signing day. It's early signing day. We are signing the letters to the national letter of intent. This is where I intend to go. Look out for Colorado to make a splash because Colorado is currently #1 in the transfer portal. All right. We are eating everybody's lunch in that transfer portal. We're doing a lot of things. We're bringing in a lot of pieces to answer a lot of questions. There's still the question of the tight end. All right. I don't know what's happening to Colorado's tight ends. I believe if you're going to play well-rounded football, you got to utilize your running backs and you got to utilize your tight ends. If you are well-rounded, all right, because you can fool a few people with a few plays and you can continue to do that. But 2 games into the season, people are going to figure out what you're trying to do and they're going to start covering you. And when they take that milk away, when they take your bone away, all right, then, dog, what are you going to do? If they take that path away, what are you going to do? So we need to make sure we have tight ends. Tight ends' primary job, for the most part, is to block. If we get some beefy tight ends, a good tight end or a good tight end room, they're going to block for your quarterback. And guess what? When you need 1 or 2 yards or here and there, every now and then, it's like a fallback. They'll step up, and they are an eligible receiver all the time. They're not no linemen. They are an eligible receiver. So they can step up. They can be blocking just like your linemen, but they can step up right outside of that yellow line for that first down, and they can get a first down for you. So we need to address that. That's one thing that I just uncovered, that we transitioned Michael Harris or Harrison, whatever his name is, but he's no longer here. Now he's going to be playing for Sean Lewis. So if we converted him over, that means we had no tight ends. Nobody capable of playing that position. We need to address that. Coach Prime needs to address a lot of things tomorrow. And tomorrow is signing day. I'm going to go prepare for signing day. We're going to be having a great show tomorrow because I have some statistics. I have some things, some lined ups. I got to prepare for that. And I'm going to get ready for that show. So I will see you guys tomorrow, guys, on that show, on our National Signing Day show. You know who I am. I'm Harry B. And that right there was your Liberian perspective. That's TLP Sports Club. Blah. Y'all have a wonderful day, guys.